With the building of Jackie Gleason's home, excuse me, he may have been engaging in disclosure. Now, President Nixon took him to an air base. I think it was Homestead Air Base. I could be wrong in that, so don't quote me. And showed him something. I don't know what that is. And this was decades ago, before we had computer animation, images all over the internet of flying saucers and so on and so forth. But what I found was most interesting is the photograph of the room that you'll see here. And you look up at the ceiling, and I just happened to pull a couple of images off the internet of computer-generated so-called UFO flying saucers. And man, there are a lot of similarities. And I remember growing up in the 60s and 70s, and there weren't any pictures like these around that he could have taken them from. I don't know what it was that he saw. I don't know if it was a craft, a body, or both. I just remember what his wife said, and that was he was a changed man after that, even though he went on to a great movie career and continued on. But it was something missing. Well, that could possibly be shock. And I would have, advised him to speak to somebody about that and work through that. But I would say that the reaction that she was referring to was probably a state of shock. And I think any of us would have to exhibit that, except there is so much going on now and so much disclosure that, something could be seen and people are going to ignore it. It's like Stanton Friedman said, they're used to them. And of course, with all these drones and people making drones look like UFOs and flying around and stuff, the real thing, now it could all be disinformation by the government, to get the public just to kind of ignore it and so on and so forth. I don't think that's necessarily the case. I think the whole Oumuamua thing is more the drip. Remember, Oumuamua changed its course from the orbit that it was on after it passed us here on Earth. So obviously, you could say it's a piece of maybe there's some other planet or something in space that broke up and these are pieces of it. And I'd go with that, and I get that. But this thing changed course. And normally, things don't do that. It's like a lot of those images that I, show on Mars. And remember, whatever I put up a link of the source. And I always ask a question. That's why there's a question mark. I'm not trying to spread conspiracy theories. It's kind of like, let you examine it and you make your own decision. Well, with all that being said, we'll see you in the next clip.